All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it, do they?
They don't. And they think they are all that. Oh my gosh, the most arrogant people in the world are in the media. I don't get it because they don't know how to do anything. I mean, with very few exceptions, they don't know how to repair stuff. They don't know how to drive a truck, fly a plane, be a nurse, be a doctor, be a worker. They don't know how. All they do is sit around and pretend. And a lot of them have actually convinced themselves that they must know better. After all, they're sitting in a place like this. I've never fallen prey to this stuff, all right? And by the way, I've done a few things other than this. And I'm so grateful, actually. Most of them have not had that opportunity. They didn't want it. And you know who gets me the most? Mika.
When COVID first erupted in February, March of 2020, we were having shortages, whether it was mask shortages or ventilator shortages. But then we started talking about shortages in medicine. And here we are, 2 years later? 3 years later. We're still talking about it. Yeah, 3 years later. Unbelievable. When are we going to start moving on this? This seemed like a no-brainer 3 years ago.
What's the holdup?
Yeah, what's the holdup? Time's a wasting. What's the holdup? Because if Mika were running the situation, it would be a whole lot better, right? What's the holdup? They haven't run anything. They don't know anything. Talking to Dr. Death there, by the way, Zeke Emanuel. Mika, like most of them, just kind of bounced around from TV station to TV station and somehow thinks that that makes her special in terms of maybe more important than other people. No, it doesn't. But boy, oh boy, are they convinced. They are so convinced. This is actually the most interesting part and possibly the most useful part. She got fired. A lot of people in this business get fired. Sooner or later it happens, and it does build character. But in her case, she went from there to another opportunity where the big opportunity was dating Joe under interesting circumstances. And now she wants answers, huh? What's up with that? I don't like them. Sorry. I love them, but I don't like them. And the worst part, the worst of them are the fact checkers, the so-called fact checkers. So Joe Biden goes around to this day bragging that he played football. There he is, number 30. And maybe he did. You know, Joe has told so many lies that I'm kind of skeptical about everything, but he says he was a real champion player. In fact, he was a starter at the University of Delaware, except he met a hot girl.
I married a beautiful woman from Skaneateles Lake, was at Syracuse. I met her on spring break and fell head over heels in love with her and gave up a starting job on the football team in Delaware to come up every weekend because I couldn't stay away.
All right. It's a sweet story if it's true. I don't think it's entirely true. But I know this about Joe Biden. He got a deferment. He didn't serve in Vietnam, in part because he claims to have had asthma. Now, I don't buy that. A lot of people are looking for deferments, and Joe got one because he had asthma. It's a fact. But what does PolitiFact say? PolitiFact is one of those phony baloney websites, the fact-checking one, and Joe Biden did not use health excuses to dodge the draft. That's a pretty bold statement because I've seen that in a lot of places. In fact, I kind of remember seeing the deferment itself, and even PolitiFact in the story acknowledges Biden underwent a physical exam which specified that he could be drafted only in a national emergency because of his asthma. It's right there in the story. Right there in the story, but they say it's not true because he had other deferments for other things, student deferments, got married, that kind of thing. He did not go to Vietnam because he had asthma. It's right there. Yet they still protect this guy for some reason. And beware these fact-checking websites. And like we were talking about before, the arrogance of these people is really obnoxious.
We brought together the founders of PolitiFact over Zoom. Neil Brown, Bill Adair, Angie Drobnik-Holan, and Matt Waite to say how it all started in 2007.
What's so funny? Their website is funny. It's a joke. Again, people cite this thing all the time, and there they are. Can I see the headline again, right? No, Joe Biden did not use health to dodge the draft. But inside the story, it says he used his health to dodge the draft.
Doesn't the president want you to know? Well, it sure seems like there's something in his tax returns that he wants to hide.
A new uproar in the race for president. Tonight, it's all about Donald Trump's taxes. Not releasing them would be unprecedented in modern presidential politics.
I mean, there's way more evidence that Donald Trump is hiding something in his tax returns. There's way more evidence he's doing something weird with the Russians than there ever was that Obama wasn't born here.
Well, it's been about a month, and Donald Trump's taxes check out, but all that kind of got me thinking about Joe Biden and all of his recent troubles with the classified documents. I thought I'd take a look at Joe Biden's tax returns, and oh yes, like a good Democrat, like a good citizen, he put those returns online, and I got them right here. And actually, I don't know if he realizes just what he did by putting them all online. He got a great big pass. There is some weird stuff in here, but there's also not a lot in here, just like there aren't a lot in Donald Trump's tax returns. So let's bring in an expert. Ren McEachern, former acting chief FBI International Corruption Unit. He is the founder of Trust Storm Solutions. That's a forensic accounting firm. They investigate financial crimes, international money laundering, and tax evasion. And first of all, sir, it's true, FBI agents for a long time, they need lawyers and they need accountants. That was almost a prerequisite for a long time, that you had to be one of those things, right?
Thankfully, Greg, those days have changed. Otherwise, I would have gotten into the bureau. But they do open up now beyond JDs and CPAs. But those people still exist and are critical to the mission, of course.
Well, it seems like you have a great knowledge of the area nonetheless. And look, going through these documents, let's put up Joe's, the actual income from 2017. And it's many, many, many millions of dollars. But I thought we'd have more information, as in like, okay, how do they get this many, many millions of dollars? And it's actually not in there. I thought that was all supposed to be in there. I guess that's not the case when you're running for president. What's up with that?
So in all my years, leading complex financial, investigations around the world, looking at money flows to include tax records, there's never the smoking gun. Oftentimes with the tax records, it's just one piece, and it doesn't show the origins of the funds and where they're coming from. And so there's an amount, but there's always much more work that needs to be done to really understand the source of the income. To be honest.
And when you heard like the media uproar that lasted for 7 years, 8 years, about Donald Trump's tax returns, did you understand what you just told us, that most likely that's not the way it works and they're being naive?
Yeah, I would have loved to manage expectations around that, because as we now know, there's not a lot there as everybody thought there would be. It's just the nature of these type of documents. It's just one piece of a larger complex financial case, but it's never the smoking gun. It really isn't. As you can see, they're very abstract often, and they're prepared by tax preparers that are very savvy in these areas, and businessmen, smart, savvy businessmen and women around the world do use tax evasion, which is completely legal. And so it doesn't really give you a lot of what people think they're going to find.
A lot of people are seizing on rental income in 2017 was like $23,000. And they're saying, wait, didn't Hunter Biden pay $49,000 a month in rent? Where is that? But it looks to me like that was an office payment, not a residential payment. But who knows? These things are opaque. When Joe Biden runs around bragging about how transparent he is by putting out his tax returns, does that also give you a, give me a break, buddy? That may wash with the fake news, but not with the pros.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody, oh, hey, here are my tax returns. I'm going to, open up the kimono. I'm totally transparent. But again, these records only tell a very small piece of the story and don't really speak to where is the money coming from, who paid it, where else did it come from, where is it going next, right? And all the sheltering and structures that are often behind complex money flows that can come through tax records that really just seem non-detailed and don't make a lot of sense by themselves.
Can I get your sense as a professional investigator and all your experience at the FBI, when Joe Biden sent his lawyers to clean up an office, I know he's a sitting president of the United States, but still. And he said it in Mexico City. I don't know if he wanted to say it, but he said it.
Yeah. When my lawyers were clearing out my office at the University of Pennsylvania, they set up an office for me, secure office in the Capitol.
As an investigator, as an FBI man, what's up with that?
You know, Greg, I don't know obviously what happened here exactly, and I have some ideas, but generally you want to go with objective fact collectors and objective investigators to collect that key information. And using your own lawyers, to me, it seems a little bit, it's hard to trust that, right? And so that's why groups like the FBI are critical to these investigations, and that's how they should be correctly leveraged in these types of cases.
I guess the thing, though, is it was before the investigation. You know what I mean? He's cleaning out his office. Apparently, they don't have a whip that there's anything classified in there, and that's the odd part. They're not under investigation yet. They're using lawyers. And I'd like to take your temperature, please, of the current climate at the FBI. This is a former senior agent, and the way he talks about you can't question the FBI or else people will die, basically. Here he is.
This is becoming very dangerous on a very personal level, because what this committee is going to do and what the speaker has clearly already demonstrated he's going to do is they're going to discard the fact and they're going to attack people personally and endanger their lives.
He's speaking of Jim Jordan and others in Congress who have genuine questions of the FBI. They raided the president's house, their involvement in the Russia hoax. These are legitimate questions, but they're kind of screaming that people will die if you start asking these questions. What do you make of that posture?
Well, remember, when we you take an oath when you're in the FBI to protect the Constitution, and we take that responsibility, that mission incredibly seriously. And so we think questioning, what we do and how we operate is healthy, right? No organization is beyond its own investigation of how we conduct ourselves. At the end of the day, if there's public trust issues, there's a perception of public trust, that's going to be a problem. The men and women doing all the investigations at the line are terrific, and they're committed, and there's not a lot of bias there at all. But if people are not sure they can come to the FBI in big cases or cooperate with the FBI, it's going to be very difficult to do the important work of the FBI without cooperation and trust. And so the erosion or the perception of the erosion of trust is what concerns me the most, and is critical going forward to get that restored.
Ren McEachern, former FBI, and currently you can find him at Trust Storm Solutions. Go to truststormsolutions.com. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Your retirement funds are being threatened with even more losses from record inflation, recession, and skyrocketing interest rates. Fortunately, the highly trained specialists at American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. If you call them right now as a special offer, they will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order, so don't wait. Call 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532.